And welcome everybody. Very excited to be going live with you today. I need to change my colors here. Moody lighting. All right. Okay, so today in this video, we are going to be going over some really archaic imprisonment templates, basically for the masculine and the feminine. We're going to be talking about some of the stereotypes and some of the energy that exists and doing some activations and breakthroughs to assist you. So if you're a woman that's really struggling to manifest in her life, you need to stick around for this. If you are a man who is really struggling to manifest in your life, you need to stick around for this, because the way the masculine and feminine templates are basically imprisoning one another through victim templating needs to be addressed and healed and cleared. And this is a gift that I'm bringing to all of you as a code bearer today to help you in activating, shifting, and releasing this bullshit for life. So if you would like to participate, if you would like to partake in this activation and this code, give me a fuck yes or an amen in the comments, and we're going to get to it. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is, I'm your sweet and sour, full of power, purple water falling from the sky, violet rain, freedom. I'm a consciousness mentor. I'm a code bearer. I do alchemy and activation with people to assist you in living your highest level of freedom. This is why I changed my name, my last name, to Freedom. It's why I'm here on the planet. It is my mission to, we're a little bit behind in our timeline here on the planet in our evolution. We had some hijacking and some intervention from dark forces a little over 40 years ago that has us a little bit behind. So part of my mission and purpose in being here right now on the planet is to accelerate your timeline, to assist you in creating what's called quantum leaps. This is something that I specialize in. So I am not like a standard life coach where you set little goals and you do some incremental things, although that is part of spiritual law and principle to meet yourself where you're at and do things sequentially. I also play in the etheric realm where we do a lot with quantum leaping, quantum shifting, not 1 + 1 makes 2. 1 + 1 = 11, fun shit like that. So the first time that I really activated this in my own system was during the eclipse season of 2017. This is when all of these codes for abundance and massive quantum leaping came online for me. And I went from doing a business that was doing between 20 and 30 grand a year to doing my first 100K year. And I actually did that in a 90-day stretch. So that was really exciting to then grow that business to be a multiple figure business. So really exciting. So I've got one yes in the comments. Come on, guys. If you want these codes and activations, I need an amen, a fuck yes. I'm here. I'm with you. You get to participate. Let's do this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, is I'm actually going to lay a foundation for you guys so that the codes can actually come in. I get to kind of massage and talk to and do a little foreplay here with the mind and the ego to get us to the point where you're able to really receive the activation and the code. This is a really big deal. So I would love to know in the comments, hey Marcy, thanks for playing. Good job. I would like to know in the comments, first I'm going to address the women or feminines, people who identify as a feminine template holder. I would like to know if you've ever been told you were high maintenance, you were a prude, you had too high of standards, you were going to break the bank with your need for name brand or luxury, or what are some of the other phrases that I've heard? You're too much. Things like that. Let me know in the comments if any of you have ever heard anything like that from friends, family, and particularly a partner, someone that you are living with, in union with, and co-creating a life with. Jackie's never heard that. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. And then for you men, if you've ever felt or experienced a pressure inside your system the minute that you've gotten married or began to start a family and have kids, of this immense pressure to provide and to be the source of well-being for your wife, your partner, and your children. I'd love to know that in the comments below. So this is the basic template, and I'm going to kind of detail it out for you here. So the base template is this feeling that both men and women get to, which is very ancient and archaic, and actually originates in the idea of men primarily doing the work, women like the work outside of the home, providing and bringing in income, women being kind of like stay-at-home moms, doing the household, the cooking, those types of things in and at the home. So those gender roles that were created have been what's helped perpetuate and feed this bullshit. So at some point along the line, the masculine or men, and I'm going to use them interchangeably. It's not all men, and I'm talking about the wounded masculine templating here. So for those of you who don't know, I am in a relationship with my twin flame, who is also a woman, Keely May, and in our dynamic, I carry and hold the masculine templating, and she holds the feminine for our union. So when the masculine template came in, it came in right as we were coming into union, and it came in for, I would say, 3 or 4 months until it was finally locked all the way in. And basically what happened was I took on at that time and I'm able to tap into and understand aspects of the wounded masculine templating that I was oblivious to before. So things that I would look at a man and be like, why does he do that? That makes no sense. That's so fucked up. When I took on all that templating, I could then see the wound, and I could actually understand sequentially the process of entanglement that brought that masculine energy into full fucked up distortion. And I could actually track it. And that was a huge shift in understanding for me. Huge. So as I'm talking to you from a very grounded place of knowing of the energetics behind these templates. So rest assured in that. I am a woman that has carried masculine templates, and it reads energy. So it makes me a very catalytic being to be bringing this message to you. There's no mistake that I incarnated in this way, at this time, in this body, here speaking with you guys. This was a sacred contract we had arranged for these codes to be received. I'm feeling it in my throat chakra. I need everybody to just take a nice deep breath in. I have so much that wants to come through so fast. I'm going a million miles a minute here. Yes, too much. I'm too expensive. I have that same shirt. You do? It's not a shirt. This is it's a sweatshirt dress. It goes like almost to my knees. I love it. I got it for my birthday from my soon-to-be wife. So exciting. Hey, Vivian. Hey. Okay. So let's keep going here. Thank you everyone else who's popped on and joined us. If you guys could, if you're feeling inspired, if you could tag somebody below, shoot this in a private message, or share this out. This message is essential. So much pain, bullshit, and collateral damage that often includes children being in the mix is happening because people don't understand these basic principles. And once I deliver this code to you guys, it's like, oh my God, this is so fucking simple. What have I been doing? Banging my head against the wall, feeling frustrated with my husband, like I'm dragging him, nagging him all of the time. Husbands feeling like they can never keep up with their wives' expectations, feeling that their wives are these naggy bitches. Like all of this can begin to unwind and dissolve when we understand these templates, okay? Okay, here we go. So, gender roles, these ancient ways of doing things, and at some point the masculine got very, very afraid. Masculine is about creating certainty, stability, routines, systems, and schedules. That's the part in our brain that is really good at that. We all have both. So as I share this external templating, understand you do this inside. The man inside of you, the masculine inside of you does this to the feminine, and the feminine does this to the masculine inside of you. And it's creating so much fucked up distortion and separation when really the dream is the ultimate connection and union. That's the powerhouse. When you're in full union, you have 1 + 1 = 11 instead of 2. You can kick so much ass. You can manifest so much. You guys, that's the type of energy that creates fucking worlds. This is what we're talking about here. It's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. Okay. So, all right. So you've got these gender roles with these templates. And at some point, the masculine decided that it couldn't really trust the feminine, that the feminine was too volatile in nature, too free-flowing, too all over the place, too unpredictable, because the feminine essence inside of all of us is that way. She's more spontaneous. She is more free-flowing. She is water. She is fluid. Sometimes she's calm. She looks like glass. And sometimes she is a raging hurricane. And the masculine is more like a rock. It's like the cliffside. that's observing all of this happening. It's like the shoreline to the ocean that's just solid, that's just standing there. And it's watching this feminine energy rage and crash up against it and do all of these things. And if a masculine energy gets in distortion or in wound, it won't be able to do its actual job, its design, which is simply to hold the container, free of judgment, free of trying to like control it, allowing the water to rush and wash anywhere that it wants inside this structured space of holding. It's a holding. It's not a controlling. It's not a confining. It's a containment space. Like your skin, your bone structure would be considered like the masculine, right? Your blood, your organs, the gushy gooey parts that are inside of that skeletal structure, that without that skeletal structure would be a pile of mush on the floor. That's the feminine. And you can't have one without the other. So for those of you who maybe are like hating on the feminine or hating on the masculine or wanting to trade teams, I've had a lot of people say bullshit like that. I've been cheated on so many times by a man or this or that, I'm going to trade teams. That is not what I did. That's not what my love did either. That's not how it works. That's hugely dishonoring to say, I'm going to throw out the entire gendered male, masculine part of society because of these certain distortions. And they actually do that same thing with women energetically, where they'll be in so much dishonor and so much criticism of the feminine. It really fucking sucks. So I'm getting some bizarre notifications where it's saying, Vivian, you've logged in to watch 4 times. If you could just comment and let me know that my sound's still good. It showed it a 5th time. Are you guys able to stay on my feed? Is our sound good? Please let me know. That would be great. So we need to have both, and without one, we're basically fucked. So at some point along the way, the masculine side of things got very fearful of the feminine's energy, and it did certain wounded masculine, narcissistically flavored manipulative techniques to try to feel powerful and in control and to assure that they wouldn't lose the feminine. So terrified that they're going to lose the feminine, similar to a bird coming and landing on your hand and you're loving on it and it's so beautiful, and then all of a sudden you realize, well, this bird is a bird. Birds fly around, birds can leave. And so energetically what the masculine did was this. And it tried to hold it. It tried to contain it. And in the worst case scenarios, you have complete and total suffocation of the feminine. And again, externally and internally, inside of themselves, the feminine was squashed. Their spirituality was squashed. Their connection to their emotions, their raw creative power squashed because of their fear of it. Okay. And I'm going to get to on the other side too, because there's always a mirror and a reflection, and there's always steps we can take to move back closer to the oneness and the union. There are no victims here. The feminine was not a victim of the masculine doing this. The feminine was an active participant and co-creator of this happening. It's so important for us to hear that, because until we step into that knowing, we're going to keep recreating these same cycles of oppression and victimization. Okay. So then you have on the flip side, you have the feminine, and the feminine buys in at some level to some distortions, that they're weaker, that they're not as capable, that this masculine energy is the source of their resources, is the source of their protection. And, in all reality, this is how society was set up. Not originally. It moved into this distortion where instead of being in equal union partnership, everything moved into this really bullshit space. And the truth is, the masculine may think that, oh yeah, I'm your protector, I'm your provider. They may think that serves them, but it actually doesn't. It actually does not serve them to believe and hold that they have to be the source of protection and resource for their feminine. It does not serve them. That creates so much pressure inside of the masculine. There's a reason why there is such a high rate of addiction in men. And there's addiction in everybody, but especially in men. Their ability to process and honor their emotions and their ability to not take responsibility that's not theirs doesn't exist. So what's actually manifesting is they're swinging the pendulum way over here, and we have a severe lack of accountability happening inside the wounded masculine. A severe lack of accountability. It's a deflection. It's a blaming energy, which really is their system trying to overcompensate. These are codes, you guys. Overcompensate for the obnoxious level of responsibility that they have genetically taken on being a male, masculine individual in our society, where they are expected to provide consistently and without question the money, the resource, and the protection and the esteem for their partner. Guys, that is, think about our masculine inside of ourselves and our men. What kind of pressure are you putting on yourself that you're supposed to provide yourself everything? You're supposed to provide yourself all the ideas, all the insight, all the action, all the whatever, and you're not relying or tapped into or connected to a source or anything greater or higher than yourself? Oh, that's painful. So what we have that's happened here is instead of plugging in to source through the union, where you have two fully plugged in individuals connected completely to source and completely to Gaia, now connecting in union to make an 11, what you have is you have two totally disconnected individuals, not connected there, trying to connect here. And they're trying to be each other's sources of power, sources of love and connection. The masculine will look to the feminine and be like, you're my source of esteem, of connection, of validation. You're the source. Now, your partner can be a source of resources, a source of connection, but they're not the source. So when you have two individuals that are disconnected here and they're just connecting this way, you get so much fucking pain. And both individuals become victims in this scenario. So as much as the masculine could feel like, oh, I get all this power or leverage, or she's less likely to leave me if I'm the source or the provider for her, that actually fucks him, because what he's doing is he's reasserting to her own woundedness of being weak or not powerful or not capable. And if she is associating that feeling and energy to him, once she does get reconnected, she is so fucking out of there. She is gone, done, out of there. This happens all the time. So essential that we each be our own complete, fully connected source of love, abundance, manifestation, etc. Okay? So looking at the templating a little bit more, let's say you have a stay-at-home mom raising the kids and doing the house, and you have a husband that's going out and working and providing. The way the template will show up is if the woman is ever critical, frustrated, or impatient with the amount of income he's bringing in during his work. He's either not in, an industry making enough money, or he needs to get a raise, or he needs to work harder, or he needs to care more, or he needs to whatever. She, in that moment, is seeing him as her source of resource. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. That does not mean necessarily that she needs to go out and get a job and be her own source of that. What it means is that if she is in vibrational alignment with, that's what I'm saying. She is, whatever she's getting, she's in vibrational alignment for. And so instead of looking at him and being like, why don't you work more? Why don't you go for promotions? Why don't you get a different job? Why? She needs to go inward, connect to her source, and begin vibrating at the level of abundance. She will attract the opportunities for herself or him, or she'll attract, an inheritance. She will attract the abundance herself. She is the source of her own experience. We get really fucked up when we turn and we look at the other person expecting them to do something. She is reasserting that she is the victim. And likewise, so is he. When men feel this and masculines feel this intense pressure to provide, this is what they will do. This is what the template will do. Okay, they come into union. They're married. Oh, they're so happy. They're so in love. And the feminine has all these dreams. You know what I want to do this next year is I want to put in this garden. And I want to buy these seeds. And I want to buy this. And I want to buy that. And he's like, he wants to be excited for her. He wants to be supportive. But in his mind, he's going, Can we afford it? Can we afford it? Can we afford it? I don't know if we can afford it. I don't know if we can afford it. And then anytime she's just brainstorming or dreaming and she's doing her feminine creative thing, because the truth is the feminine is going to have, hundreds and hundreds of dreams and thoughts and only ever actually fully align to or really desire to manifest 2 or 3 of them, not the whole 100. But she'll talk all day long. And we all do this inside of us. Men and women, our feminine does this. Dream, 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 dream. Okay. And then our masculine inside of our body becomes the dream stealer. And the truth is the higher vibrational operation of the masculine is to assist in actualizing it and taking the action. So if the masculine, the feminine is like, oh, I want to plant 3 trees. The masculine's like, we only bought 2 seeds. That's his job, is to say, I'm looking at what we bought and we didn't buy that. So we need to manifest it or go buy it or go ask a neighbor or we need to go do whatever, right? That's the masculine's job. What is the distorted masculine is to sit there and say, you can never do that. We can never do that. That's not possible. You can't have that. No, 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 no. And then it gets really damaging when it goes into the shaming. Shaming the feminine for the desire. Why do you want that? That's so fucked up that you want that. You're so high maintenance. And the reason the masculine does this inside of ourselves and in our relationship is his own insecurity and fear of his inability to meet that standard or expectation. Which means in that moment, the masculine within us or the masculine in our partner is not connected to the source of all things. When you're connected to the source of all things, you know you're powerful and you're relying on and tapped into something far greater than you. But when you're not, you're playing in the realm of lack and limitation and sacrifice and settling. And so if the feminine's tapped in, tuned in, plugged into spirit, and she's like, we can do anything and we can have this and I'm just dreaming, and he's not plugged in. He is going to want to squash her desires, her dreams, make her feel shame, make her feel guilty for wanting it so that he doesn't have to face his own insecurity. That's what we do inside of ourselves. That's what happens in our relationship, okay? Same with the feminine. If you've got a masculine that's over here connected and aligned, and he's just doing what he loves, and he's in his process, and he's working his whatever, his business or his career, and you've got a feminine not plugged in, she will look around her life and be unsatisfied with what she does or doesn't have, and she will look to him, nag, complain, why can't you do more, etc., etc., etc. You guys see the pattern? You seeing it? Let's look at this. Ladies, you should totally check out Queen's Code by Allison Armstrong. It goes right along with what Violet Rain is teaching. Yeah, exactly. So I love the Queen's Code. It's really powerful and profound. And honestly, you guys, first step is always going to be going inward in how you talk to yourself. How does your masculine and your feminine interact? That's what I want you looking at. Because as within, so without. It's always about us doing our own inner work. And it's so essential. You guys, we get to eradicate the victim template because as long as it's there, nobody is plugged into their own power. Nobody. They're not taking any accountability. They're not even in the game yet. They're not even in the ring yet. They're still sitting on the bench when you're in the victim mentality. You're not out there creating or playing or doing or being. You are just sitting there in the blame game. And it's like, why try if you're the victim? You're constantly looking for something outside of you to come in and rescue you. It's so incredibly painful. I love this. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys are resonating with this. Amanda Rose, you will love this. I consider Violet Rain Freedom a friend. I hope to meet her soon. Oh, you're cute. I live out in Vernal, Utah now. Yeah. So I'm just going to tune in here for anything else in this transition. The codes and activations have already been delivered through everything that it is that I just said. They're actually in the tone and the sound in the way that I'm speaking. So what I'd like you to do, if you're not driving or operating like heavy machinery and you're in the ability in this space to pause, I'd like for you to just pause for a moment and take a nice deep breath. Go ahead and close your eyes on down. And I want you to visualize and imagine codes coming from the screen that you're watching this in. So the codes have come from the galactic central sun, from source, and they have come down and they've been imbued imbued into my system, and they're coming out in the sound of my voice and the words I'm speaking in the specific artistic way that I have strategically said everything in the order that I have. And then it's coming through the screen into you, and it's activating you into the remembrance. And as it goes into the cells, and it goes into the DNA, and it goes into the remembrance of all of these things, and it starts bringing them back online. Everything's coming back online. All of the remembrance of the divine blueprint of union of two fully, independently, interdependent, confident, capable, connected, grounded beings, fully aligned with source as their own unique creators of their own experience, connected in this beautiful, deep union. And from that place, anything is possible. I want you to see, feel, and know this to be true. We're just going to bring everything into completion now, past, present, and future, going past the illusions, using negative energy in a positive way, breathing everything into completion. Receiving the divine truth and the remembrance that you are a sovereign being, that you are the king or the queen of your life, that you are the ultimate creator. Everything in your experience is being co-created with the divine. And everything in your relationship is being co-created with your partner. There are no victims. And your inner work is the work. And from your inner work, all of your external actions and decisions will flow easily and effortlessly through the grace of our Father, Mother, God. Thank you, and so it is. I love you all so much. Have a very beautiful day. And I would recommend rewatching this probably sometime in the next 24 hours. And just keep breathing it all into wholeness and completion. I love you guys.